Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
In this week's episode of the Kindness Project, we talk about nature, Black Panther, and we have part 3 of our interview with Douglas Samuel MBE from the Spartans FC.
Good morning, evening, afternoon. Welcome, my friends, to another episode of the Kindness Project. I'm joined by the director of Source Code Solutions Limited, it's Russell Dames, and the director of the washing machine in her own flat. Oh, she ain't got a washing machine in her own flat. The microwave in her own flat. It's Charlotte Dames. Oh no, the director of charlottedames.com. This week about nature on the blog. I read the article every week without fail now, Charlotte. Your Twitter feed is plugged into my Twitter feed, and I picked up your nature related blog. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I was just doing some reading about the woodlands because I was having an hard time focusing on feminism in the early 20th century, and you know, it all spiraled from there. So
what was you having trouble focusing on?
The suffragette movement. I had some reading to do for history, so I was trying to do that and I couldn't focus, and somehow I ended up going down a rabbit hole and looking up the definition of, you know, woodland. Woodland,
right?
Yeah, and I got from there. And I asked my friend what's an interesting thing at some point, and he said, I think it's a fact that's in the thing, and I double checked it, about the 13% of the UK being woodland.
I assumed that there'd be more woodland in the UK because there's a lot of green space in the UK, isn't there?
There's a lot of agriculture, but there's not as much natural woodlands. Yeah.
And woodland. What? How many trees has got to be on a patch of land to constitute woodland?
I looked at about 4 different definitions, and none of them defined it. It was just like just a large collection of trees. I'm like,
okay, fair enough. A large collection. A large could be 3 or 130, couldn't it?
I must have a woodland in my garden then, because I've got 4 trees.
Have you got 4 trees in your garden, Russ?
I have.
I don't think that counts as a woodland, Russ.
Oh, yeah, Russ. Here's the name for your business: 4 Trees Coding. How about that?
No.
4treescodingsolutions.com.
See, this is why I'm employed a branding expert, because I can't...
Right, come on, Charlotte. We can think of a name. Topledswithrose.com. Topledscodingruss.com. What do we reckon, Charlotte? Do you want to give it a go?
Nakedcode.com.
Nakedcoder.com. Yes.
I'm going to suggest that to him when we're finished here.
Check whether nakedcoder.com's available.
But it worked for Jamie Oliver, didn't it? He's the naked chef.
Exactly. If it works for Jamie Oliver, Russ, it can definitely work for you. I think that's 100% certain. So nakedcoder.com, I'd give that a go. Naked Financial Planner, I don't think I would try it because nobody wants to see that, do they? Let's be honest. Right. What else have we got to talk about? Today I finished watching Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Okay.
Great movie. What? Why are you shaking your head, Charlotte?
Nothing. Where did you see it? Is it on Disney Plus now?
It's on Disney Plus. So watch Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Oh, Charlotte's sort of flagging that as a must-see. Definitely good, but they only had one post-credit scene. I was like, what is going on, Marvel? Come on, you've got to do a bit of a sort of a bit of a treat to see what's coming up. But yeah,
well,
so,
you know what,
so that was very good.
You know what, I've got to go and see at some point because it's supposed to be really good. The new Puss in Boots movie is supposed to be brilliant.
So are you 19 now?
Yeah. Dad, it's more critically acclaimed than the second Avatar film.
What
It's
one?
better than the second Avatar film, right?
What one is Puss in Boots?
It's the Shrek one. Antonio Banderas plays Puss in Boots. And I mean, that was like magic, Russ.
That was magic.
Literally, we'd started talking about Puss in Boots and your cat popped up on your screen.
Yeah.
Did you do that on purpose?
She wants to go out. It's a she, not a he.
Oh, right, okay. Have you got a magic cat, Russ, that can understand human language? And it was like, Puss in Boots, I want to get involved in that.
That's why I called her when you're not here.
Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
Why we're not here? Do you think it's rude to call somebody Puss in Boots when we're on a... No?
No.
Pussinbootscoding.com?
I think it's...
Look, sorry, listeners, we should have clarified that Russell is setting up a new coding business. We're trying to help him with his branding. So if you've got question of the podcast, if you've got any ideas for Russell's new computer programming business, coding business, feel free to send it in. Let's go for our top three, Charlotte. What should be in our top three for our suggestions?
Does it have to be something that sort of encapsulates Russ as sort of, because the topless coding is a funny one.
Toplesscoding.com.
Yeah.
Topless coder.
That is quite good. I like that one.
Or maybe just
What's the
topless
logo?
code.
I mean, the logo worries me, though,
Just be a
Charlotte.
silhouette of me.
A silhouette. If it's a silhouette, how do we know you're topless?
Nakedcoding.com was quite good. I quite like that one.
Is that available, Rose? Have you checked that one?
I don't know.
All right, okay. So, and then we could do about norwichcoding.com.
No.
Is that available? No, not Norwich.
Coffee and code.
World?
I'm not
Coffee and code.
Oddly enough, somebody mentioned that to me earlier.
I think coffee and coding is quite a good brand, actually. I quite like that.
Coffee and code is good.
To reflect the amount of cups you normally have in the background when we record a podcast, 7cupscoding.com. What do we reckon?
No.
8 cups.
8 cups might work.
8 cups. 8cupscoding.com. Here we go. Coffee and coding. I like that.
Okay.
Listen, listeners, sorry, we're just talking about ourselves again, as we normally do. If you've got any suggestions for Russell's new coding business, we would love to hear them. And you can get in touch with us in the following ways.
Well, I haven't done this in a hot minute. On Twitter, we're at Ola Kindness. If you want to follow us on Facebook, just type the Kindness Project into the search bar. We should be able to be found there. If you want to contact any of us individually, I'm on Twitter at Charlotte J Dames, CharlotteJDaems. Father, do you want to plug your Twitter?
No.
No.
I've got it. You know what? Genuinely, I've gone off social media.
Website.
am
www.thekindnessproject.co.uk or just Google the Kindness
I
Project
was
podcast.
just about to have a social media rant. Okay,
Your
yes.
website.
If you want to email us directly, it's ola@thekindnessproject.co.uk.
Just ignore the fact that I was going to go to social media.
No, I'm done now. You can go on your rant and we won't have to disrupt you again.
So if you would like to connect with me, I am on LinkedIn. I'm not on Facebook anymore. I'm on LinkedIn and I'm also at Chris Dames on Twitter. But I've got to be honest. The fact that I've deleted all of the apps on my mobile and I go into my browser and have a look every now and again, is quite liberating. I'd recommend everybody tries not having social media on as apps on their phone. What do you think of that idea, Raz? Not impressed.
Let me tell you why, though. Because we run a business network community on Facebook.
That's true.
I run the Cervelo social media, it all comes into my phone so that I know instantly if anything's going on.
Yeah, but Charlotte's getting him jobs soon, isn't she?
Then it'll be her responsibility to know whether anything's going on or not.
Exactly. And then you can come off the apps, can't you, Russ? You can delete them.
I don't use Facebook other than for favouring me.
For work. Yeah, for work. Interesting. But yeah,
I did at one point delete all the apps off my phone for about 2-3 weeks.
Okay. How was that?
I got a lot more reading done, but I was very detached from everything that was going on in the lives of the people I care about.
You find all
I don't think that's true though, because if you've got WhatsApp or
but I don't use WhatsApp. We all use like Instagram and
right,
Snapchat.
okay.
So it's like not having those things.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so you're sending direct messages to.
Yeah.
Talking about social media apps, or are we talking about all apps on your phone?
Oh, I wouldn't get rid of
media.
I wouldn't get rid of all apps on my phone, Russ.
No, I've got some fun games on my phone. Like I've got some puzzle games on my phone I really enjoy.
I'm still love a bit of Marvel Snap every now and again. That's all good. How are you getting on with Marvel Snap? Marvel Snap, Charlotte?
I'm probably not as far along as you. I've been doing a lot of nonograms.
What is Marvel Snap?
Oh, have you not played Marvel Snap, Russ?
We're not endorsed or sponsored in any way, but
we'd like to be sponsored by Marvel Snap because then we could talk about it more and get paid for it. But it is amazing.
I haven't got one game on my phone nor my iPad.
What?
Try Marvel Snap.
What?
I'm going to look it up when we're finished.
It's a card game where basically you collect Marvel characters and play them against.
I ain't interested in that.
Russell, may I recommend you try some nonograms? I think they're really fun.
Try a nonogram, Russ.
Nonogram?
Yeah,
or a mammogram.
They're little puzzles that I really like. I say little as if some of them aren't 25 by 25. But that's only one. Did you get the higher difficulty ones unlocked?
Right. On that note, let's move on to.
Oh, this is my kindness news.
And the first news article is going to be read out by Charlotte.
We were stranded in the freezing cold. A stranger's act of kindness blew us away. Caroline Wilson and Daniel Ashton say they will be eternally grateful. Ashton had been out celebrating her birthday with her best pal, Caroline Wilson, when their evening ran into bother. It was late when the women decided to head home with their young children, but when their pre-booked taxi didn't show, they were left stranded out in the cold in Romilly, Stockport. Caroline, Danielle and the children, aged 14, 9 and 2, waited in sub-zero temperatures for almost an hour before deciding to book another taxi. When the driver showed up, they refused to take the group due to them being with a toddler and having a pram. We were waiting for what felt like hours, but in reality was around 40 minutes. We were all frozen and couldn't feel our hands or feet, Caroline said. One child was crying and our faces were frozen. We begged the taxi driver, but he just sat there and kept saying no. While pleading with the man to take them home, another taxi driver noticed the commotion and stopped to ask the women if they were okay. He then agreed to take them home to another area. He could see we were all frozen, Caroline continued. This angel didn't even hesitate. He got out to help us in. I spent the journey home telling him how thankful I was, how much I appreciated it. Our children thanked him and blessed him. When we arrived home, this angel wouldn't take payment. He was just happy knowing we were home, warm and safe. I asked him in the end to take the money and treat his family. I will be eternally grateful to this man for his random act of kindness. I will always tell my children to be extra kind and helpful, and random acts of kindness are such good things to do for others.
I love that. I mean, that you could focus on the poor behaviour of the cab driver who wouldn't take them, but I love the fact that the story focuses on the fact that somebody stepped up and helped a mum, or two mums, and young kids to do an amazing thing. So well done, that man. Does it mention the cab driver's name?
No. Okay.
I've got an article that showcases some acts of kindness by British agents. So I'm going to talk about that. From colouring books for children to essential supplies for those in need, members of the British Asian community are embracing the season of goodwill. Now, bear in mind that because Russ is so good at sourcing really up-to-date information, this is from December months, and we're in January. Do you want to say something about that, Russ?
Just to clarify, I thought it was because we usually do sort of UK, US news. I thought it was quite important in the current climate to highlight what some minorities are doing.
Okay. At Christmas.
It doesn't matter when they do it. What matters is that
they do it. All right. I'm fine. All right.
Also,
cool.
Dad, you said it was January. It's not. It's February.
Exactly.
No, I'm not going against Russ. I'm saying you made a factually incorrect statement.
All right, you two. Get on your aisles. Right. From colouring books. Let's just can somebody like make some Christmas sounds, please, so I can get in the mood?
No.
Is that a no? Raz, can you put some like bells in the background when you?
I wish I had a copy of Jingle Bells now to play to you.
Sing it.
So
sing it. Jingle bells from colouring books for children to essential supplies for those in need. Members of the British Asian community are embracing the season, February, of goodwill. Months on from devastating floods in Pakistan, millions of people remain homeless, roads are destroyed, and tens of thousands of schools and hospitals lie in ruin. And in Afghanistan, harsh winter temperatures and snowfall combined with limited resources since the Taliban takeover in 2021 make it a vulnerable time for many. The BBC has heard about 3 stories of generosity during this festive season. First one is called Colouring for Kids. Avi Jandu has donated colouring books to cheer up children who are unwell at Birmingham Children's Hospital. The 29-year-old has spent the last few months putting his artistic skills into action, developing sports-themed colouring books to donate to the wards. The idea stemmed from last Christmas. My brother and I donated toys to my mum's school, and off the back of that, I thought, how could I make this more personalised? The books have images of Harry Kane, Ronaldo, and World Cup winner Lionel Messi, and Kama colouring pencils. Hopefully, it's something that takes people's mind off things when they're going through a tough time. The purpose of the book is to hopefully inspire a future artist who is passionate about arts and crafts. Alongside his charity project, he's also raised over £1,500 to invest in equipment and facilities in the hospital. The next one is Sweaters for Afghanistan, and this is Marvish Rukhsana, who's a lawyer. Rukhsana is a lawyer who visited Afghanistan last year following the Taliban's arrival. Everybody I spoke with hadn't been paid in months, and there were just many small children begging on street corners. I just created this feeling of obligation to help in some way. Marvish, who lives in Ascot, describes seeing an entire family living in this small, drafty, uninsulated room with zero electricity or running water. They have no heat or cash to buy wood. Winters in Afghanistan are known for being intense, with below freezing temperatures and blankets of heavy snow. She's raised 5,000 through a crowdfunder to do a sweater and warm clothes collection to help the kids in Afghanistan. Great. And then the third one is Panto and Comedy for Pakistan. More than 1,700 people have died in Pakistan's floods, and 2 million homes have been damaged or destroyed. Those who survived are living in endless uncertainty and despair. But in the UK, the stage is providing a platform and opportunity to raise money for those affected by the floods. Cinda Ayala, a reworking of the classic fairy tale Cinderella, billed as the first ever Muslim panto, is back too in the UK. They trust us that we're going to give them something which is both a mix of British culture and something to do with the Muslim faith, says writer and director Abdullah Afzal. The fact that the scenes are from diverse people on stage, and it's something we've never had when we were growing up, is quite uplifting for our community. Another show, the annual Muslim Comedy Takeover, organised by Human Appeal, has some of the biggest names from the Muslim comedy scene, such as Imran Yusuf and Ali Official. You're going to come on, you're going to hear stories and anecdotes of what it's like to be a Muslim and what it's like to be Asian, says Ali Official. The tour will raise funds for Human Appeal's flood relief project to rebuild homes in Pakistan for those devastated by this year's floods. So 3 amazing and very diverse stories of people just being conscious of how lucky they are and contributing to people in other parts of the world. What do we think, guys?
I think.
Sorry, go on, Charlotte.
No, it's fine. I think it's a good display of sort of like kindness and generosity. A display that kindness and generosity isn't just in one form or another. It's in as many forms as people will make and take it.
I mean, it is individual and unique, isn't it? You know, and there's plenty of ways you can fundraise.
When I read that article, I thought it was quite important to share the many different ways you can show kindness.
Yeah, I agree, and thank you for sharing it. Next time, though, Raz, can you make sure it's closer to the actual date that we record the podcast?
The other one was
just a minor gripe, nothing like too big.
Let me just clarify with you. We was meant to record this on Wednesday, and the other article was from the day before.
Right.
But that one stood out to me, so I decided to take it.
Well, you're the producer, right? So you're in charge, and you tell us. All we are is the what? I was gonna say the presenters. I was gonna say the talent, but that only applies to you, really. So I can't really do that. What we call Raz?
You're the host.
We're the mouthpieces.
The mouthpiece. I'm going with hosts. And on that note, I'm really proud to say we've got part 3 of our interview with Mr. Douglas Samuel. Undoubtedly one of the best, one of my favourite interviews I've ever done. Douglas is a Scottish guy from Spartans Football Club in Edinburgh, and effectively turned the football club into it's always been part of the community, but turn it into a real hub during the pandemic for helping others. But I just found Dougie quite inspirational in terms of the way he thinks and the wisdom he had to share. So I really love chatting to Dougie. Hopefully you're going to enjoy the interview too.
So do you think football and sports clubs in general have a real opportunity but also an obligation to support and help their local community? And if so, how do we get more sports organisations involved in doing that?
I absolutely believe with a passion that sports clubs should be doing as much as they can to, again, make a meaningful difference in the community where they're based. So if you think about, we have different communities at play here. So you have a community of interest, so people that are interested in the game or whatever sport they're taking part in, and you've got a community of place. Yeah. And it's where those two things meet. You know, like you said, you have this amazing opportunity to create synergies and, as I said, make that meaningful difference for that local community. Now, it's equally important that we make sure that the club is also inclusive and it's accessible. Yeah. Again, it's about getting to know and understand what are the needs of that community and how can we best serve and meet those needs without trying to be everything to everybody. I think that there's a risk that we try and do that sometimes, and it's well intentioned and it comes from a good place, but I'd much rather do 4 or 5 things to a level of excellence and do it very, very well than to do 20 things to a level of average and just say, it's not about ticking a box. I think that there has to be a sincerity and also I use the word again, like it has to be meaningful, so it has to be relevant.
Yeah.
And it has to come from the community itself by asking questions and listening to understand. Like you say, so I think that's really, really important. But certainly sports clubs have this amazing opportunity, I think, through the power of their networks and their reach and their brand. If you think about clubs in the Premiership, I'm lucky enough to have visited several clubs in the Premiership. You take a project like Brentford, for example, what the Brentford Community Trust do is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Like real deep-rooted work in their community, making that difference in their community. I'm in awe of some of the stuff that they do.
Yeah, amazing. Love that. What not one I prepared you for, but one that I always feel that really gets the heart of what you do. What story best describes the impact of your work?
Oh gosh, there's so many stories. To take it down to one, I guess it would be a young man that currently works for the organisation who's been coming to the academy for 10, 11, 12 years. Initially, and let's call him John. John was referred to us as a referral for the local primary school because he was on the spectrum. In particular, he's autistic, found it, and also had ADHD, so found it really difficult to make friends. At 9, 10, it's quite difficult trying to make friends when you've not got the social skills to do that, but also you're not, you sort of know that you're different, but you don't really know why you're different and how you're different. So he was referred to us and worked with one of our youth workers who was able to give him one-to-one support and then integrate him into like a small youth club and then into the bigger youth club. That young man is become an amazing young adult who now is a player in our para-football section. He works in the maintenance department. He follows the first team everywhere, helps the kit man. He's at the academy every day. So this thing that you
just,
unbelievable, Chris, unbelievable. And the thing is that what we're able to provide for him is that sense of worth and that sense of belonging. I call it a social home. So what we've created at the academy is a social home that is inclusive for people of all ages, for all backgrounds. And that's the secret sauce. That's the beauty of the project.
Mm-hmm. That element of purpose, right, Dougie? That element of like sort of giving somebody, what am I getting up in the morning for that I'm really adding value?
Yeah.
I think we all need, don't we? But certainly,
absolutely. And also, I think that we go back to that choice that we talked about earlier on in terms of I choose to believe that we never get to see where our ripples end. Yeah. And that thought alone, I find motivational. That drives me. Our purpose.
It is weirdly random though. So I was out for a couple of drinks and a curry with some friends last night, and we've done the podcast for 5 years, and we get tens of thousands of downloads a month, and it's all good.
Magic.
But you never, like your day-to-day lived experience, you get the numbers, but you never ever see the impact. So I'm in my local sort of microbrewery style pub. And the cast of the local Panther, right, are in there having a drink. So they've been through they've been rehearsed, and then they're not from the area. They've all been sort of dragged in, but they've been rehearsing. And one of my friends just said to one of them, "Oh, Chris has just published his book." About kindness and stuff like that. Yeah. And he's been podcasting for years. And the lady in question said, "Oh, right, okay, what's the book called? The Kindness Project. Is it?" She went, "Is it based on the podcast? Because I love that podcast." And literally, just the most random and
fantastic.
This is where you don't know where your impact starts and ends.
Exactly. You know so, and you never know who you're speaking to.
Yeah.
You never know when your paths are going to cross again. I'm a great believer in signs. So I think again, if you're open-minded to that and you proactively look for that, then the magic can happen.
Yeah, it's amazing. How do you feel about the MBE? Because that must have been quite an accolade.
Oh gosh, a little bit embarrassed, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I think that's something that I never ever expected. I'm extremely flattered that somebody nominated me, and to this day I still don't know who nominated me.
Right.
But I'll be forever grateful because I know the joy it's brought to everyone in the organisation, because I obviously accepted it on behalf of the organisation.
100%.
It's not about me. It's about
it's always about
all the blue coats. Yeah, of course it is. Absolutely. So I'm as I said, a little bit embarrassed. It doesn't mean to say I'm not hugely flattered and hugely honoured and incredibly proud. And I know what it means to my family. And again, I'm extremely grateful to the person who nominated me. And yeah, so I collect it on the 18th of January at Hollywood Palace with Elaine and my mum and dad. So I think that'll be nice and pretty special.
It's better. I mean, it's better than being proud as well, isn't it? You know, yes, as you say, you can say, look, it's for the team, but as long as your family gets to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, my mum and dad obviously broke down into tears. My brother teased me a little bit because, again, if you think of our background, you know, he's like, oh, that's you part of the establishment now and on and so forth. And, you know, and it's funny and it makes me smile. But I think that, as I said, I very much accepted it on behalf of everyone in the Spartans family because it's, as I said, I think I used the phrase earlier on, we are always standing on the shoulders of giants. So
100%, 100%, completely agree. So you tell me about what the amazing work you've done and been doing. What's next and what's exciting and new coming up? So
I guess what's next for us is we're working hard just now on a capital project to build a new extension on our youth workspace. We've got a dedicated youth workspace within the footprint of the stadium pitch. That will be a 350k investment for us, so that's significant. We want to increase and expand our education services. One of the projects that we've delivered over the last 6-7 years and has done very, very well and I don't like the name, but it's the alternative school. So it's a school for S3, S4 aged young people at risk of exclusion where we provide a 2 or 3 day scholarship for them for the full academic year, and that is really, really gone well. So we want to try and explore doing something similar for children of primary school age. There's a real need to deliver that service and create that service. So we'll be doing much more in the education space as well. And I think we want to look at just early years in general. There's a lot of research now, obviously, that suggests that the earlier the intervention, the better. So looking at trying to do a bit more work around purposeful play and outdoor play in the early years. So there's lots happening. It's really exciting times, and it's just about that continued organic growth, really.
And as you say, you know, like, I mean, we're products of this. Like, as we said before, you get those early years right. You get somebody who's got a really decent mentor or role model at the early stage in their life. It can make such a fundamental difference, can't it?
Yeah, and sometimes it's the smallest programs that can have the biggest impact.
Yeah.
So, for example, we've got a program where we fund internships for a handful of senior students at the local high school, and these are senior students who've got aspirations maybe to go to university, but one of the barriers to them going to university is that they maybe need to go out and get a part-time job to help contribute to the family financial well-being and welfare. So, you know, we want to remove that barrier by saying, well, look, why don't you come and work for us a day a week as part of an alternative curriculum, help us deliver in primary schools, and we'll give you a funded internship. And it means that in the evening you can study for your hires or your whatever it is you're studying for to get to university. So again, it's about having that detailed understanding of what are the barriers and what's preventing people from achieving their dreams. Yeah. So
just supporting them to success, whatever that looks like for them is
and it's defined by them. What is your buy on, Chris? It's defined by them.
Yeah. How if people? So are you, Dougie? Like, who's your team? Apart from clearly the team that you love and support, apart from the Spartans, have you got another club?
Yes, I'm born and bred and grew up in Leith, so that means I support Hibs.
My club,
I'm a Hibs man.
My Scottish club, because Cassie, my wife's mum and dad, live in Arbroath.
All right, okay, Dick Campbell. Right, okay.
So I'm every time. I mean, we're up for Christmas, and I know that we'll be going over there. So we get to Gayfield probably 3 or 4 times a year, which might be the coldest place on the planet
and the windiest. The windiest. Is there ever been a game of football there without a wind?
Yeah, it's on the beach, but I've not been to Hibs yet. I'll have to add that to my list. If people in North Edinburgh want to get involved with a club and want to get engaged, I know we've got loads of Scottish listeners. How do they do that?
just get in touch. Get in touch, whether that's popping into the facility in person or whether it's dropping me an email or giving us a call. There's lots of ways that people can help, and that can be through coming along and volunteering. It can be through making donations. It might be donating, like say, old toys, old clothes, whatever that might be. It may be a financial donation, whatever is appropriate for them, whatever they can obviously give.
And you talk about people getting in touch. What's the easiest way to do that?
It's just through our email at info@spartanscfa.com, or they can write to me, Douglas Samuel, at spartanscfa.com. All of those contact details are on our website, which is spartanscfa.com.
Fab. Dougie, you've made my day, because talk to somebody like you.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
So inspirational means that I'm definitely going to have a happy Friday now. So thank you so much.
Well, you must come if you're going to Arbroath next time you're in Arbroath. It's not that far away, so do pop down and we'll have a cup of coffee at the academy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love that. I'd really love that.
Cheers.
So that was our last interview with the Dougie. Who we got next week, Russ?
I'm not sure yet. I'll
All right, you might make an executive decision again.
I might.
Nice.
I'm getting into these executive decisions.
I tell you what, what are you doing, Charlotte? He's getting down
to business.
To business. That's what you're doing, Russ. You're doing well. Right. On that note, right, Charlotte.
'Tis the end. 'Tis the end of another podcast. So the end is never truly the end, because the end is always the beginning of something entirely new.
And today it's joke of the week.
Oh, no answers to last week's question of the podcast.
Have we got any answers to last week's question of the podcast?
Have a guess.
No. It's joke of the week time. Go on, Charlotte.
Why were they called the Dark Ages?
Because their lights wouldn't work.
No, because there was a lot of nights. You said they're supposed to be bad. You said they're supposed to be bad. You said
they are bad. That was bad. You definitely fulfilled the I can't think of the word now. You definitely fulfilled the project aim.
Hold on. Give me one more chance.
Go on in.
It's going to be bad again, but maybe a little bit better this time. Did you hear about the cheese factory that exploded in France?
Oh, it's brie.
No.
There was nothing left but debris. I got Russell.
We need to leave right now. On that note, that is the end of another podcast. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.